For more than 6 decades, Blaine's Farm and Fleet's Toyland has provided
I got it. I was on mute all this time. Okay. I got it, Sharon. Thank you. Okay, so let's go ahead with this. Sorry. All right, we'll start again. Okay. Sharon's going to keep going. Okay, we're good now, right? Good. All right, so they did call me. I wasn't reading chat. She says we all get a new car. Yeah, you can hear me now. All right, good. Let's see where I was even starting on this. I think I said some really good things in the beginning that you missed, and I don't even remember what I was saying about. I said I couldn't get into my live, right? And then I said that we're going to talk about this Charlie Adelson case, which is a crazy case. There's a lot of players in this, bad actors, if you would, in this case, and it all revolves around a divorce, a custody battle, somebody that felt they shouldn't have to, or that life could be easier if an ex was out of the way, much in the way that allegedly that Stamping Up lady felt. Maybe it would be best if her husband was just out of the way there, you know? And I don't remember, I was saying something else here in the beginning, and it was some pretty good stuff, but what are you going to do? So we're going to look at this. We actually, maybe you remember, we covered this case, I think it was 4 years ago. Like I said, there were a number of people involved in this. Coming to her mother, the brother who's a dentist, his girlfriend, some other people related to the girlfriend. Some of those people were on trial. There was a victim's impact statement done by the mother. I disagree with the way they treated his mother on that. I still remember that. But I really feel for his mother, meaning Dan Markel's mother, the man that was murdered. And I believe they weren't even letting the grandchildren see the grandmother, Dan Markel's mother, which is so wrong. And there's very big similarities to the Stamping Up in that case. You know, in that scenario that they're like entitled and they think that I'm just going to fix this for myself because this is what I want to do. And I really don't remember what else I was telling you. I was telling you about there is some news in the Murdaugh appeal, but we'll get to that at the end. There was something else I was talking about in this, and now I'm trying to remember. Oh well, I'll just move on. I feel like you missed something. Somebody will have to read my lips if you could see them. Okay. Hi, White Angel. So what we're gonna do, he's due to go on trial on the 23rd, Charlie Adelson. We're gonna take a look at this whole case from start to finish. What's going on? Who was Dan Markel? Why was he murdered? Who was already tried? What happened to them? Where is the ex-wife and the sister of Charlie Adelson? What is she? What's her culpability? What's the mother's culpability? What's the girlfriend? Well, we're going to go through the whole thing. All right, so let's try to, a lot of people don't know this, and even if you knew this, a lot of times you forget things because we have all so many cases in our heads. So let's take a look. Okay, so Dan Markel was a professor in Tallahassee, Florida. go. Okay, let's talk about this. So, this is Charlie Adelson. Okay, and Ruth Markel. And I'm going to have to get this book. I'm going to get this book. It's called The Unveiling by Ruth Markel. Let me just see this. The Unveiling. And this is his mother that was on there reading her victim's impact statement, and really feel for the mother. It was terrible. They gave her like interruptions or something during her victim's impact statement, and it was very, very rude. But I just remember that, and I felt like she was treated like not very nice. The Unveiling, and it is by Ruth Markel. A mother's reflection on murder, grief, and trial life. Let's see, I'm going to have to get that. Let me see that. So it says Ruth Markel is a noted author, public speaker, and president of R&M Enterprises, a leading management consulting firm. She worked in senior management positions in both private and public sectors for the past 40 years. Ruth has lectured on issues concerning negotiation and advancement in organizations at the University of Toronto, the London Business School, and the Toronto Metropolitan University. In addition to several TV and radio appearances, Ruth's published work include Moving Up, A Woman's Guide to a Better Future at Work, Room at the Top, A Woman's Guide to Moving Up in Business. I don't even know if I knew that she was an author I don't know how much we learned about her, and she's got a bunch of other titles. Due to circumstances surrounding the unforeseen murder of Ruth's son, Dan Markel, she has appeared on 2020, Inside Edition, Court TV, and Dateline NBC. She has participated in the hit podcast Over My Dead Body by Wondery. With support from Dan's friends and extended networks, Ruth's efforts successfully changed Florida's restrictive grandparent visitation statutes to provide access to courts for other families facing terrible circumstances. Ruth hopes to use her platform and the media coverage that is inevitable around the trial and the publicity of Dan's case to make sense of, provide consolation, and counsel about a horrific and powerlessness situation. Homicide doesn't discriminate. It spans race, religion, socioeconomic, and public status. People are hungry for these stories, as evidenced by dedicated true crime conversations around the world. Crime Con, Crime Fest, Death Becomes Us, and a proliferation of new shows, podcasts, and online communities interested in following these cases. As Danny's mother, I have been a prominent figure, but I have never told my full story to the public before now. That, combined with the keen interest in Danny's murder and the popularity of true crime in general, convinces me that my story will help others through the experiences of their grief from murders, victims of violence, and grandparent alienation. So this was published on September 20th of 2022. So I'm going to get that, and let's see what is, a first-hand look into that. Okay, so that's something that right away we learned there. Okay, let me go back to so this, let me show you Dan Markel. This is the man who was murdered. Okay, so the hitmen were arrested. They were Luis Rivera and Sigfrido Garcia. They both came from Miami Beach. The facilitator of the horrific murder was Garcia's baby mama, Catherine Magbanua. She was the one-time girlfriend of Charlie Adelson. So you getting that? Charlie Adelson's one-time girlfriend, Catherine, baby mama to Sigfrido Garcia, who was one of the hitmen. I believe the other one was her cousin. I'm not sure. Let me see. Charlie Adelson is the older brother of Dan Markel's ex-wife, Wendy Adelson. Catherine Magbanua was the liaison, and she worked in Charlie's dental practice and had dated him. Luis Rivera pled guilty to murder in 2019. He was sentenced to 19 years in prison, while Garcia faced down the death penalty. He was convicted of first-degree murder and conspiracy and was sentenced to life in prison. Here's the trio of people that we're just talking about. The two hitmen and Catherine in the middle there. And after a number of false starts, Catherine Magbanua was convicted of first-degree murder and conspiracy in the death of Dan Markel. Rivera didn't know who was behind the murder plot, but testified that Magbanua was the woman in the middle doing everything. He also claimed to know the reason for the hit, because the lady wants her 2 kids back. She wants full custody of the kids. See, Wendy Adelson and Dan Markel had 2 children. This is Wendy Adelson. Now, the mother, Ruth Markel, said that she had suspected that Wendy Adelson was involved in her son's murder from the start. But Wendy has maintained her innocence and has so far not been charged, despite now officially being named a suspect. Well, is it going to be like the Stamping Up murders and after she will be? I don't know. Charlie Adelson was arrested and charged with first-degree murder and conspiracy. Wiretaps that captured Big Brother allegedly discussing the hit wiped out any vestige of the idea that he was not involved. The Adelson clan was part of an FBI sting that involved an undercover agent broaching Donna, that's the mama, for more money. Recordings made at Miami's Dolce Vita Resto captured the Ferrari-driving Charlie Adelson allegedly discussing matters with Magbanua. Okay, and here's Charlie Adelson's mother, his sister, Charlie Adelson. And Harvey up here. See. Throughout the probe, the word TV comes up as an apparent code for the Markel murder. Charlie used it, Donna used it, and so did Wendy. Ruth Markel said, "We're not used to murder for hire in our family. We've had 8 years of these hearings and appeals, and it was a very hard experience, a disaster." She said, and I quote, "We're grateful for all the help we've received, and we're grateful that the police never gave up." The media and a Facebook page set up by Dan Markel's friend, Justice for Dan, has also kept the case in the spotlight. Dan Markel urged his mother to just take care of my kids if anything should happen to him. He would have celebrated his 50th birthday on October 9th, and that was last year, so he would have been 51. His mother, Ruth, said, "For all of his achievements, I'm most proud of him as a father." Recently, and this is last year, Ruth and her former husband, Phil, visited their grandchildren for the first time in 6 long years. So she was apart from those grandkids for 6 years. It couldn't have gone better. We asked if they could give us a hug, and they ran right to us and hugged and kissed us. There was no awkwardness or discomfort at all. They remembered us. This was real, true grief. And earlier she was asked by a reporter what she would say to the Adelson family. And I quote, she said, "I wouldn't send them a message, but I believe this is a time for reflection. I would ask them, was it worth it?" Okay, so that's a little bit about Dan's mother. Let's go into more about how this murder went down. On the morning of July 18th, 2014, 41-year-old Florida State law professor Dan Markel took his boys to preschool. He hit the gym, and then he went home to his quiet, tree-canopied neighborhood. But within seconds of pulling into his garage, 2 .38 caliber bullets fired from point-blank range were lodged in his brain. His brutal murder defied explanation. The case went stone cold for nearly 2 years before a dogged pursuit by the Tallahassee police and the FBI resulted in the arrest of 2 lifelong criminals who had driven 10 hours from Miami with one purpose: to murder the esteemed professor. Right? But who was behind it? His ex-wife? Or her family? Who was the mastermind? Well, Catherine Magbanua, but who was talking to her? What they have recordings. I remember hearing the mother on these recordings. It's just crazy. Let's see. Let's go back in time to 2014. To releases from the Tallahassee Police Department Violent Crimes Unit. They released images of a suspect car. This is back in 2014 again. And this is the suspect car. Which was a silver Toyota Prius, appears metallic to light green. The windows are dark tinted. The vehicle had 3 distinctive characteristics: a missing tow bolt cover on the driver's side front bumper, a black passenger side mirror housing, and it's not the same color as the vehicle. And then it had a toll transponder similar to a SunPass or ePass in the center of the front windshield. So a $25,000 reward was offered. And then there was another reward of $100,000 for information that leads to the conviction or arrest of the people responsible for the murder of Dan Markel. Dan Markel's father, Philip, expressed fears that the case would never be solved. And I quote him saying, "I know nothing will bring our son back, but we would like some closure. The investigation seems to have stalled, and it is just so frustrating for the family. We want to see the killer caught and brought to justice." Dan's father lives in Toronto, Canada. He said he has his own theories about who killed his son, but won't say anything without firm evidence. It is frustrating as we are at a standstill, and that means we cannot have closure and just have to live with it. This is not the best situation. Some colleagues had speculated that a posting that Dan Markel wrote on his now defunct blog, Prof's blog, could somehow have been the key to him being targeted. He was the subject of an anonymous threatening post. Bullies like this need to be made radioactive, a person wrote in Dan Markel's blog comments. Their arrogance speaks for itself. All means necessary must be employed. Police have not said if the person who made the blog post has been traced. Okay, so that was one theory back then, right? Let's keep going. So then that was in August of 2014. More details were emerging. Remains a mystery 7 months after. Okay, so let's talk about now. It's in his father spoke in the spring of 2015 because it was almost 8 months since his son Dan Markel was gunned down in an execution-style murder as he sat in his car in the garage of his home in Florida. Dan Markel, a 41-year-old father with 2 young sons, worked at Florida State University. No signs of a struggle, nothing taken from his home. Police saying he was the intended target. Despite extensive police investigation, no suspect has been arrested. There's been no hint of a breakdown in the murder that shocked his colleagues, family, friends. Detectives appear to have few leads. And his father said, "I know nothing will bring our son back, but we would like some closure." And that everything is still at a standstill and there's nothing. And again, that he has his theories, but unless he has more proof, he's not going to let those theories out there. Let's go to... So let's skip ahead a few years. Okay. To 2016. Oh, look, my birthday. In May, okay? So let me get his picture up here. There was an arrest in May of 2016. A man was arrested in connection with the July 2014 shooting death of Florida State University law professor Dan Markel. Sigfredo Garcia, 34 years old at the time then, he was arrested in Broward County. Garcia is charged with first-degree murder and possession of cocaine. State's Attorney's Office in Tallahassee approved an arrest warrant for him. He is being held in the Broward County Jail after being arrested by the Hallandale Beach Police Department. Garcia has a criminal history. It includes strong-arm robbery, burglary, drugs, and concealed weapons violations. So that was nearly 2 years after Dan Markel was murdered. And now it was going to be investigated as a murder for hire. So their first big break in the case. Now, June 2nd, just about a week later, Florida investigators believe that Dan Markel was murdered by 2 convicted felons who were hired by his ex-wife's brother. A newly unsealed probable cause affidavit said a desperate desire by the family of Markel's ex-wife to move the couple's 2 children from Tallahassee to Miami was the motive of murder suspect Sigfrido Garcia. Okay, so let's see if we can grab this. Let me get this here. Let's grab this arrest affidavit. Okay, let me pull this over there. Okay, so on Friday, July 18th, 2014 at 11:02 a.m., a report of a shooting was received at the home of FSU law professor Daniel Markel, 2116 Trescott Drive, Tallahassee, Florida. Upon arrival, Tallahassee Police Department officers found Markel slumped over in the driver's seat of his vehicle from an apparent gunshot to the head. Markel was transported from the scene to a local hospital where he later died from the injuries sustained during the shooting. The investigation of the crime scene found no indication that the incident was part of any other criminal intent, such as burglary or robbery. At the time of the shooting, Markel was talking to an individual on his cellular telephone. That person stated Markel interrupted their conversation, saying someone he did not recognize was in his driveway. The person on the telephone with Markel then heard what sounded like a loud grunt. He heard a muffled conversation in the background, but could not make out the words being spoken. He then heard labored breathing, but could not get Markel to respond. Initial investigation at the scene revealed that a neighbor heard what he believed to be a gunshot and looked out the window, where a small silver or light-colored vehicle resembling a Prius was observed backing out of the victim's driveway. Motive for murder. Investigators obtained information from sources that Markel had gone through a bitter divorce with Wendy Adelson, who was also a professor at FSU Law School. Wendy filed for divorce on Monday, September 10th, 2012. Markel reportedly returned home from a business trip to find his family gone. A majority of the contents of the house missing, and the paperwork for dissolution of marriage displayed on his bed. Nice, right? He eventually learned Wendy and their 2 children had moved to her parents' home in Coral Springs, Broward County, Florida. Reportedly, Markel protested and Wendy returned to Leon County with the children until legal arguments could be heard. On June 20th, 2013, Leon County Circuit Judge Hobbs formally denied with prejudice Wendy's motion for relocation with the children. So she wasn't allowed to relocate. She wanted to move back to where her parents were in Miami, right? Not be in Tallahassee. Court documents show the divorce was resolved without a trial by a marital settlement and granted by Judge Hobbs on July 31st, 2013. Email evidence indicates Wendy's parents, especially her mother, wanted Wendy to coerce Markel into allowing the relocation to South Florida. Additionally, Wendy's brother, Charles Adelson, Charlie, reportedly did not like Markel and did not get along with him. On February 14, 2014, Markel filed a counter motion to enforce the MSA's financial provision and motions for sanctions. Markel claimed Wendy and her attorney had not been forthcoming in the MSA regarding her financial assets. On March 26, 2014, Markel filed a counter motion for enforcement of MSA on parenting issues and motion for contempt and sanctions. One of the points of contention in this motion was Wendy's mother, Donna Adelson, and her reported negative interaction with the children. Markel claimed Donna made disparaging remarks about him to his sons. Markel sought relief in this motion by asking the court to prohibit Donna from having unsupervised time with her grandchildren and to impose limitations to prevent the children from being subjected to disparaging comments about their father. These motions were scheduled for a court hearing on May 15, 2014. However, due to substitutions of counsel, the hearing was continued. A new court hearing date had not yet been scheduled prior to Markel's death. Investigators believe motive for the murder stemmed from the desperate desire of the Adelson family to relocate Wendy and the children to South Florida, along with the pending court hearings that might have impacted their access to the grandchildren. The suspect vehicle. This investigation has revealed that Markel left his home the morning of July 18, 2014, and drove his 2 young children to their daycare facility on the west side of Tallahassee, approximately 5 miles away, dropping them off at 8:50 a.m. Markel then drove to Premier Health and Fitness Center at approximately 9:12 a.m. Markel arrived at Premier, where surveillance video shows a silver or light green Toyota Prius enter the parking lot after Markel parked his car. After Markel went into the health club, the video captured the Prius in the parking lot, where the driver moved the vehicle to different parking positions while Markel was in the building. Markel left Premier at approximately 10:38 a.m. and drove off in his vehicle towards Thomasville Road. The video shows the Prius exiting the parking lot and following the direction of Markel's car. Additional video was discovered for the day of the homicide on the Story Metro City bus camera system. Video was captured from 2 different buses, one southbound on Thomasville Road and another northbound on Thomasville Road. The bus camera system captured images of what appears to be the same Prius before and after the homicide was committed. Unfortunately, images could not provide the license plate characters of the Prius. After analyzing all of the surveillance videos, investigators believe the suspect vehicle to be a 2006 to 2009 Toyota Prius with silver pine mica paint, which appears to be a light green silver color. The Prius appears to have tinted windows, a SunPass transponder on the top center of the windshield, a missing tow hook cover on the front bumper, and a black passenger side mirror casing. Investigators analyzed the timestamps from the bus camera videos when the Toyota Prius was observed, which confirmed that the Prius had the opportunity to be present at the crime scene when the murder was committed. Additional surveillance video was obtained from a bank, a county government facility, and a store along Markel's route the morning of July 18, 2016, which also shows a similar vehicle trailing Markel's car. Investigators believe the suspects in the Prius followed the victim throughout the morning and back to his residence, where the victim was shot in the head as he sat in his car. After the homicide was reported in the press, a resident of the Ashford Club Apartments, 2055 Thomasville Road, reported seeing 2 men park a bluish-silver Prius-type car in the southeast corner of the complex parking lot around mid-morning on one of the weekdays immediately following the July 18th, 2014 homicide. The men got out of the vehicle and walked down a park path behind the apartment complex that parallels a large storm drainage ditch. The ditch is at the fenced rear property line of Markel's home on Trescott Drive. The resident described the driver as a white male, tall and slender, with a runner's build, fair complexion, wearing a light-colored ball cap. The passenger was described as a shorter man with a stocky build and dark hair and a darker complexion resembling Italian or Spanish descent. When the two men returned to the car around 10 minutes later, the passenger was carrying an unknown black object in one hand. He was completely wet, as if he fell into the drainage ditch. The driver's pants appeared wet to the knees. Sigfrido Garcia and Luis Rivera are similar to the physical descriptions given by the Ashford Club apartment resident. Garcia is taller and slender, and Rivera is shorter and stockier, with a darker complexion. As set forth below, evidence establishes that they were in Tallahassee on the day of the murder and that they rented a silver pine mica Toyota Prius for the trip from South Florida. Both Garcia and Rivera are convicted felons in the state of Florida. Connection to Garcia. Investigators developed information that around the time of the murder, Charlie, Wendy's brother, was involved in a personal relationship with Catherine Magbanua, whose cellular telephone number was blah blah blah. Call records show Magbanua as one of Charlie's top contacts. Online public database research revealed that this number was utilized by Catherine Magbanua. Further investigation also revealed that Sigfrido Garcia is the father of Magbanua's two minor children, both with the last name Garcia. Magbanua is also listed as the vice president of S. Garcia Solutions, Inc., and Garcia is listed as the president of the company on State of Florida's records for corporations. Cellular telephone analysis conducted during the investigation revealed that on July 18, 2014, at approximately 9:36 a.m., the day of the homicide, cellular telephone number blah 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 was in the vicinity of Premier in Tallahassee, where the victim was last seen alive. Investigation of the telephone number revealed that it was being used by Garcia prior to the murder and had been in contact with Magbanua's telephone number approximately 2,700 times between May 1st of 2014 to July 19th of 2014, when Garcia's cellular phone ceased activity the day after the homicide. Cellular telephone analysis revealed phone number blah blah blah, which is one of Garcia's frequent contacts, was also in the vicinity of Premier on the morning of the homicide. It was also in the vicinity of Markel's residence twice the day before the homicide on July 17, 2014. Investigation shows this phone number was being used by Luis Rivera during the time leading up to Markel's murder. Information obtained from the cellular service provider for that number of Rivera's is consistent with Rivera's handset traveling from North Miami to Tallahassee at a time consistent with having committed the murder and then immediately heading back to North Miami after the homicide. Information obtained from the cellular service provider for Rivera's phone and Garcia's phone revealed that the two traveled from North Miami, Florida on the afternoon of July 16, 2014 and arrived in Tallahassee, Florida just after midnight on July 17, 2014. A receipt from a motel on West Tennessee Street in Tallahassee shows that Rivera checked in at approximately 1 a.m. on July 17, 2014, which is consistent with the cellular location data. Both Garcia and Rivera's phones were in the area of the victim's residence during the day of July 17, 2014. Based on the video images of the suspected car with the SunPass transponder mounted on the windshield and cell site data for the locations of phones used by Garcia and Rivera, a subpoena was sent to the Florida Department of Transportation for SunPass toll records on Alligator Alley, I-75 west of Fort Lauderdale, on July 16th and 18th, 2015. Only one account listing a Prius as a customer vehicle had SunPass transponder activity on the Alligator Alley toll booths on those 2 dates at the relevant times. On July 16, 2014, see, they messed up there. They put 2015 up there and it's 2014. They messed up. On July 16, 2014, at 2:18 p.m., the transponder registered at the toll plaza in Broward County, westbound on I-75. On July 18, 2014, at 5:23 p.m., the transponder registered at the eastbound toll facility of I-75 in Collier County near Naples, Florida. FDOT shows the subscriber for this SunPass transponder is a rental company in North Miami, Florida. The rental car company was contacted by law enforcement and provided several rental contracts around the same time of the homicide. These included one for a green 2008 Toyota Prius, rented from July 15 to the 21st, 2014 by Luis Rivera, with a contact phone number, blah, blah, blah. A second telephone number was also written on the rental contract number. Garcia's cell phone with the word brother written beside the number. Tallahassee witness. A witness whose identity is known to the law enforcement affiant previously met Garcia and Rivera in Tallahassee a month or more before the homicide. The witness' cellular phone was contacted by Rivera's cellular phone on the afternoon of July 17, 2014. The witness was asked and agreed to rent a motel room on North Monroe Street in the witness' name for Garcia and Rivera on the night of July 17, 2014. This is consistent with the cellular location, date, and receipt obtained from the motel showing a room registered in the witness's name. The witness was able to positively identify both Garcia and Rivera individually in 2 separate photographic lineups. The witness recalled Rivera having in his possession a silver finished short barrel revolver handgun the first time he met Garcia and Rivera, possibly in June 2014 at the motel on West Tennessee Street. Recovered evidence from the crime scene indicates the caliber of the firearm used in this murder is consistent with the revolver ammunition, and no spent casings were found at the scene. The investigation did not reveal any other legitimate purpose for either suspect to be in Tallahassee at the time of the murder. On the morning of July 18, 2014, both Garcia and Rivera's cell phones were in the area of Premier during the time when the victim was inside, and surveillance video shows the Prius in the parking lot. Garcia's telephone ceased activity just before 10 a.m. while in the area of Premier, with the last text message occurring at 9:58 a.m. The next event on Garcia's telephone was text messages and or notifications being received at 12:29 p.m., consistent with the handset being powered up. Immediately afterward, at 12:30 p.m., Garcia placed a call to Magbanua, which was the first contact initiated by Garcia after the homicide. The call occurred when Garcia's phone was in the area of Lake City, Florida, on or near I-75, approximately 1.5 hours after the shooting was reported. Investigators believe Garcia and Rivera turned their phones off before 10 a.m., committed the murder of Markel at his home on Trescott Drive, and then fled back to North Miami, Florida via I-10 and I-75. Analysis of Rivera's checking account revealed an ATM transaction took place on July 18, 2014 at 6:46 p.m. as they were returning to North Miami from Tallahassee, Florida. Security video from the drive-through ATM lane shows Rivera driving a Toyota Prius up to the ATM at 6:45 p.m. This Prius appears to have tinted windows, a sun pass transponder on the top center of the windshield, a missing tow hook cover, a black passenger side mirror casing, matching the characteristics of the Prius seen on the video from the northbound bus cameras in Tallahassee. Viewing the bank video, Rivera is seen completing the ATM transaction. When he leans forward, Garcia can be seen sitting in the front passenger seat of the Prius. As the Toyota Prius exits the ATM area at 6:47 p.m., the front passenger seat of the Prius, Garcia can be seen, the license plate can be seen on the rear of the car. The tag characters appear to match those of the car rental contract. Cellular site data is consistent with this stop at the ATM location prior to Garcia and Rivera arriving back in North Miami. There is no previous contact found between Markel and these two defendants. Therefore, it is the affiant's belief Garcia and Rivera were enlisted to commit this egregious act against someone they did not know and had never interacted with before the murder. On May 24, 2016, investigators conducted an interview with Garcia. During the interview, Garcia denied ever being in Tallahassee, and he stated that he has never made any trips with Rivera. Garcia denied any knowledge of the homicide. The proceeding is true to the best of my present knowledge or belief. So it was signed probable cause sufficient, and the arrest was made. Now, let's go back here. Wendy Adelson had, I forgot about this. She had a podcast, I believe, about this. Wendy Adelson took a writing class in which she wrote about Dan's murder. And her presentation of this material showed up in 2 episodes of a podcast based on the class. Let's see. Okay, so here's what Wendy wrote in response to the prompt, "How are you really?" And these are her words that I'm going to read. On July 18th, 2014, someone shot my ex-husband in the head while he was pulling into our garage after he dropped our then 3- and 4-year-old sons off at school. I only found out this information when the police picked me up from a lunch date I was having with 2 girlfriends and insisted that I come with them back to the statement and then interrogated me for 8 straight hours because it's usually the ex-wife. I'm not really okay. I list the things that are going well when people ask this question. My children are thriving and happy. We live with my parents who are incredibly devoted to our well-being. I started my own immigration practice, and I just signed up to do a 1-year clerkship with the Federal 11th Circuit in September, which means I can get off Obamacare and have 1 year guaranteed of a steady income. But the truth is that I miss my life. I was a professor at Florida State University College of Law. I was so proud to be a public interest attorney and a mentor to my students. The novel I wrote about my client's story had just been chosen as the common read for all first-year students at FSU. In August, I was supposed to be the commencement speaker, and then I was supposed to take my brain cancer surviving, just turned 70 father on a trip to Machu Picchu. And I don't get to complain that I didn't do anything of those things because I am alive. Let's see. Okay. Then there's a revised version of her story. 10 months ago, someone killed the father of my children. First we got divorced, then he got murdered. In casual conversations, I don't know whether to call him my ex-late spouse or my late ex-spouse, except that late ex-spouse sounds like latex spouse. Last July, someone, and we still don't know who, shot my husband point blank in the back of the head as he pulled into our garage after driving our then 3- and 4-year-old sons to preschool. We married when I was in my mid-20s, when I thought I could cheat the system by marrying a man I lacked passionate love for because, hey, didn't that die anyway during marriage? I saw his intellect and big heart and thought he would make a wonderful father for my children. Our marriage dissolved after the children arrived, as the loneliness of being married to someone that didn't view me as an equal crept in. I do believe he loved me the best way he knew how. I mean, he didn't like fiction, so why read my novel? It was logic, not a lack of love. It feels sacrilegious these days even to suggest something less than heroic about my late ex-husband because he was murdered. He died violently and young, and likely at the hands of a professional killer. And the media had a field day in response. I turned on the news to find photos of my children with Nancy Grace, George Stephanopoulos, saying my name in reference to our acrimonious divorce, and a picture my friend took when I was her maid of honor showed as evidence for why I should be treated like a murder suspect and not the mother of 2 fatherless boys. I sat on a bench last week to watch the boys play. An older woman sitting next to me commented on how adorable my boys are and asked, "What does your husband do?" I hate this question. I haven't yet said he doesn't do much because he's dead, but I think it sometimes. I find when I tell people that my children's father died, they feel sad. But when they ask the follow-up questions and find out we weren't married, they seem to feel better. I don't. My mom and I have lived together for almost a year. She is selfless, generous, loving, and beautiful. She thinks she is fat. She once got turned down for Weight Watchers because she didn't have enough excess weight to be admitted to the program. She thinks she is stupid. My mom, who won the New York Spelling Bee for middle schoolers when she was only in the 6th grade. I'm so many of the things I am because of who my mom is and who she wants me to be. I was valedictorian of my high school. She seemed proudest that I graduated high school still a virgin. I try to draw boundaries with my mom because lately there aren't any. She's caring for my children right now, so I can be here in class more like a co-parent than a grandmother. But I accept it because as a former kindergarten teacher, she is so adept in that role. She taught my boys how to recite the 44 presidents just like she taught me when I was 4. I see myself in them. reciting, receiving praise. She has completely changed her life because mine fell apart. I write letters to her in my head every day, ones of immense gratitude for facilitating my return from the bottom. But when we speak in the few fleeting moments, when the kids or my dad don't need something, it comes out like, "Is the dishwasher clean? And if not, should I run it?" Or something else inconsequential about laundry or groceries or aspects of daily life. My childhood friend Lisa told me this weekend that she never even knew I was unhappy in my marriage. I had no idea I hid it so well. I always thought that I had an expressive face, the kind that easily registered happiness and disappointments. But the more I think about it, the more I realize that most people think I am very happy all of the time because I smile constantly to try and engage with people and make them smile too. I think this face is kind of a mask that I wear out of a life of endless practice, like a kind of muscle memory for the face. I can even remember one time learning that a friend's father had died, and upon hearing the news, I smiled. It was a bizarre reaction since I loved my friend and her dad very much. We were 13, and I remember him making pancakes for us many a Sunday morning after a few of us had slept over. More than 20 years later, I still feel like a freak show thinking back on that moment. If I'm a person that likes to be funny and to use humor and levity to engage with people, then it is an authentic or inauthentic response to smile at the news of something tragic. Am I deluding others or myself when I smile or laugh through the pain of a terrible time? Am I avoiding actually bathing in the grief I need to feel, so when time passes, I will have missed my chance to mourn? Danny used to tell me that everyone thought I was such a nice person and such a good person, but he was the only one who knew the truth about what a bad person I was. He was convinced I had deluded everyone but him. It should be intimate when a man cries in front of you while you hold each other, and it was, but I wasn't crying. Sometimes I feel like I'm all cried out. This year I told my small children that their father was dead and wasn't ever coming back, and a few nights ago when a beautiful man teared up in my arms, I wondered if I could ever cry at something beautiful again. I shared a piece of writing with him I was trying out for class. It describes a scene where I am immensely sad. He tells me he was initially impressed with all that I have accomplished, but now he's more taken with what I have endured. I appreciate his words and wonder, why can't I be that woman on the spot? Why do I reserve the written word for a place where I can accurately and painfully express myself, and the in-person, real-life version for the Wendy show, jazz hands and all? I wish I could merge us so we could be less of a weirdo. Strange, right? Okay, so let's go. I remember going through this whenever it was 2019, I think, when they were having the trial for one of them. Okay, let's see what else we have here. Jury rejects the death penalty. Okay, so let's see. There was a September 30th, 2019. Were opening statements of the prosecutor and the defense. Ex-wife Wendy Adelson took the stand. The lead investigator, Craig Isom, takes the stand. Interesting. Yeah, that's what's right on that. Okay, and that's but let's keep going. Where want to look? About Charlie, right? And more about okay, here we go. Here's something else. Charlie Adelson was arrested in Dan Markel's murder based on a newly enhanced FBI recording. This nearly 8 years after FSU law professor Dan Markel was gunned down in his garage by hired hitmen. His former brother-in-law has been arrested in connection with his brazen broad daylight murder. Charlie Adelson was booked, according to Broward County jail records, on charges of first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and solicitation of murder. The 45-year-old was taken into custody without incident by the FBI. It was a bombshell development in one of the most infamous murder cases. Okay, let's see. The Leon County State Attorney Jack Campbell said the key new evidence was newly enhanced audio of a secretly recorded conversation between Catherine Magbanua and Charlie Adelson at a Miami restaurant in 2016. The recording purports to capture the two discussing the case months before any arrests were made. The discussion, which was raised at previous trials, was prompted by an event a day earlier. A day earlier, an undercover FBI agent posing as a gang member and cohort of the hitman approached Adelson's mother on the street. We've been able to hear things from the video that we weren't able to hear until this most recent enhancement. We've never stopped working on it, and we appreciate the efforts of all law enforcement partners. Okay, so let's see. Dan Markel's mother, let's see here. All right, so let me go to, hang on, let me try to get this here, right here. Okay. Okay, let's look at, hang on. Okay, I'm going to pull this over here, and this is going to be the transcript of the recording, okay? Let me pull this over. Get over there. Okay. State of Florida, Catherine Magbanua. Recorded audio file transcribed. Beginning of audio. Charlie Adelson. If they had any evidence, we would have already gone to the airport. The problem is, even if they bug this, even if they bug your home phone, nobody is going, unintelligible, Catherine says something unintelligible. Charles says, even if they, unintelligible, even if they bug your phone, unintelligible, even if they bug your phone, unintelligible, you're still not talking about any of this. So my point is, how do you get people to talk? You throw smoke grenades and then you get all of the cockroaches to run out. There's smoke in the house. There's smoke in the house. And everyone's running around. And everyone's running and everyone's talking. And you throw a smoke grenade. What do you think? Listen, if that's what it was, it's very smart, because that means my mom hasn't told my dad anything. My mom knows my dad is going to flip out when he finds out. But my mom hasn't told my dad anything. But normally, obviously, if that was a cop that came and spoke to my mom, and that night, when he comes home from work, she would say, guess who unintelligible, today, or guess who paid me a little visit when I'm taking the grandkids to school, and then, Catherine Magbanua says something unintelligible. Charlie Adelson says, after she dropped them, and she was walking home, she dropped them off and was walking back by herself. So this person had to be unintelligible, because the thing is, unintelligible, a lot of times my mom takes their car and drives them to school, the kids. This person knew her routine, knows who she is. Catherine Magbanua, unintelligible. Charlie Adelson, someone may have to come up to the office. My dad works Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Like you know, it's probably either get him on the beach or get him at the office up there. They may have approached my mom because my dad may be someone who's carrying a gun. So you never know. You know, you don't want to turn into an effing shootout. What? No. Catherine, unintelligible shite that I use. Charlie Adelson, and I can tell ya, a lot of times I carry a gun on me. I mean, someone comes up to me. Catherine Magbanua, I have mine right next to my inaudible. Charlie Adelson, you're carrying on you right now? I mean, I'm going to start carrying one on my back. Like, you know, the holster that fits in your back? If someone comes up to me, they better be ready to shoot, because I'm going to shoot them. Someone comes up to me asking for money in my house? Catherine says something unintelligible. Yeah, and guess what? When the effing police show up and there's a doctor, there's an oral surgeon standing there with a dead gang member in his effing driveway, they're not going to come down too hard on me, and I'm not going to talk anyway. I don't know. I don't trust them. Catherine Magbanua says something unintelligible. Charlie Adelson, Katie, this is not like some chick showing off tattoos to your man. This is happening, and it's serious, because these people are going to come back. They didn't go through the trouble of seeking my mom out to hand her that and then go away. So I've got two options. They're not going away. I may wish they go away and never come back, but they ain't going away. The trouble they went through, Catherine says, there now, because unintelligible, there's going to be a point where it's just like, hold on, Charlie. Well, with a beard or with a badge? Catherine, either or. Charlie, I don't know. Listen, if a badge comes up to you, tell them, have a nice day, officer. Listen, if they want to charge me with something, charge me. If not, I don't talk to cops. Sorry. Catherine, you know, perfect. Charlie, no, it's very simple. It's like, Catherine, yeah, unintelligible. That's shite. Charlie, if you're going to charge me, charge me. Catherine, yeah, unintelligible. Charlie, yeah, but things have changed a lot. You know what's changed a lot? There's cameras everywhere. So cops now, they have a effing pension. When they retire, they're going to get a pension for the next 30 years, medical, dental, and a salary every month. If they think that, you know, the cameras look, how many cameras are in there, in here, 5, you know, I mean, they better be going in a place where there's not a chance that someone doesn't have a camera pointing outside to know the caption of unintelligible. Catherine Magmanua, unintelligible right now. Charlie Adelson. What I'm saying is that this person is not going away. They came very equipped with details. Where did the details come from? I don't know. The details? Catherine, unintelligible. Charlie, well, because it's one of two things. What else could they, go to the cops and you give unintelligible information? Okay, I'm going to tell them that my brother did it. I'll go right now and tell them. They're going to say, can you prove it? And I'm going to say, no. Did you know what kind of gun was used? I say, no. Did you see your brother do it? No. How do you know it was him? He told me. Okay, he told you? That's called secondhand knowledge, and it's not even admissible. Okay, he told you. What did he tell you? He said, I did it. Even if I went in and said, my brother said he did it, you've got to prove it. You've got to put the person on the scene. You've got to understand, in order to prove it, you have to put that person at the scene at the time, not in the car, because the fact is, it's like, even if, let's say, you just sat in the car, right? And then I go ahead and I commit a crime. And then I go, but your DNA is in the car, and I go, yeah, Katie was in my car, and she got out, and she did this horrible crime. Okay, so then they come and get the DNA in the car and go, oh, Katie was in the car. No, Katie sat in the car for 2 minutes and then got in the AC, and then they got out of the car. Katie has nothing to do with me robbing the Burger King. So even if I can prove that, yeah, Katie was with me, can you put Katie at the Burger King? I can put Katie, I can say that she sat in the car, yeah. What you need to do is get that little bit of evidence from you having been in the car, and then they bring you into an interrogation, and they're like, listen, we know that you were in that effing car, and you were in that car such and such day. We know we've got your DNA. Even if your DNA, your fingerprints, your effing hair is all over the effing car, that proves, yeah, congratulations, you were in the car. It's not a crime to sit in the car, okay? You know what I mean. My mom could have sat in the car too. It's not a crime. They have to prove. They have to put you at the scene, at the date. Catherine says something unintelligible. Charlie says 2. They said the guy's name was 2-0. I don't even know who the F it is. Is there just 2-0? Catherine, unintelligible. Charlie, 2 toes? Incarcerated now? I know that you've been helping out Katie, and helping your family has been helping out Katie and her family. Now Tuto's family needs your help. My mom was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And he goes, well, maybe this will refresh your memory. And he handed it to her. Catherine, unintelligible. Charlie, and she said, unintelligible, respect, unintelligible, well-spoken, like polite. She goes, unintelligible, polite, and well-spoken. I said, did he act thug, or did he have talk with like a thick Spanish accent or anything? She said no. I said, was he white or Hispanic? And she said he was white, but he could have been Hispanic. But that, unintelligible. Catherine says, either way. Charlie Adelson's, yeah, couldn't say. I mean, everybody in Miami is Hispanic, so it's like you can't tell. I talked to you on the phone, and it's like talking to some, like, Maria from West Side Story. Like, it could have been, like, unintelligible. So he wasn't strong-skinned. She hadn't effing unintelligible sounding unintelligible, which was very recognizable. Catherine Magmanua, so recognizable. Charlie Adelson, with no glasses, I said, unintelligible, no glasses, no hat. You know, unintelligible. She said, well dressed. Catherine, well dressed. Yeah, he wasn't like you would have looking at and you're like, oh, he's a thug. No, she said he was wearing like a shirt and kind of like a little vest or kind of like a little jacket. She said he was broad. My mom's like, he was big. My mom's walking away and my mom goes to the right and he moves like this. Said he turned and my mom's like, oh, sorry, sir, like this. And then he goes, my mom's like, sorry. And he's like, Ms. Adelson? And she's like, yes. He goes, I need to talk with you. Okay, so my mom thought it was like a process server. Catherine says, unintelligible. Somebody had to know where your mom, unintelligible, a lot of knowledge, unintelligible. Katie, for $19, if I entered your mom's name and address in the effing computer, it costs $19 to find out where they probably rented an apartment under their name, so it's probably in the registry or whatever. So it's like, you know, when you're online and it's like $19 or $29.99, find anyone you want, that's all you do. And it shows where they're registered at. And then you locate them. And you go online and you pull up a picture and then you sit outside and you wait. And you know what their kids look like because guess what? They're online too. Catherine, unintelligible. Charlie. So Katie, they'll be back. These people know about unintelligible. Whoever it is knows information. Catherine, unintelligible. Charlie Adelson, what? Catherine, you know what I mean. And there's not a lot of people that know much about unintelligible. Charlie Adelson. They didn't mention my name, which makes me think that they don't. These people only know part of the story, or they think they know part of the story. Catherine, unintelligible. Charlie, do you think that, let me ask you a question. When everybody was there the next day, did any of you take any money? It's not like you're driving around in a Bentley, cruising around in a mega yacht. You know, someone, he must, unintelligible, at some point, because otherwise he would have no idea that I had anything to do with unintelligible. Catherine, unintelligible. I feel like unintelligible and the way that you're describing it, like how they well-dressed, number one, that's not something like, yeah, Charlie, well, you can know some things about anything. The problem is this, okay? So this is, go tell the cops. They're going to ask you, where's the weapon at? You're going to say, I don't know. How do you know who pulled the trigger? You could say a name. Okay, how can you, did you witness it? And the person is going to say, no. The question is, how do you know? So if you didn't witness it, you only heard a rumor on the street that this person did something. Do you know what that's worth? 0. Then what you do is you wear a wire. You get this person talking. And if you can get the person to confess on wires, then you have something that you're charging. You have a confession. You have an admission of guilt. Outside of that, there is no evidence, okay? You have a car and you can link this person to renting that car that's used at the scene of a crime, okay, but you know you have to also prove that they were also driving the car that day too. They didn't rent it and lent it to a friend. What if you rented a car today? I go, Katie, can I borrow it for the weekend and I'll bring it back on Tuesday? You go, yeah, sure. So you rented a car. You've been in that car. I drive it to effing Orlando. I rob a McDonald's in Orlando. I come back and I go, here's the keys, Katie. And you go, okay, thanks. Yeah, you rented it, but, or what if you were effing out all weekend and you didn't even know I took your car and I did something and I brought it back, okay? My point is, I don't have any knowledge of what went on. Evidently, this person either pretending to or does. I don't want someone paying visits to my parents. Catherine, unintelligible. Charlie, it could. I wish that it was a cop playing games. Why didn't they know it was me? If it was a cop playing games or an investigator playing games, then they didn't mention me. They did mention your son's girlfriend. Katie not mention me at all and my family, and I think if they thought that I had something to do with it, that they would find me and they would talk to me. You know what I'm saying. Like, go talk to the person who's involved, not effing people who aren't involved. And I'm not involved. But if they knew, or your relationship was with me, not my family, like I dated you, not my mom. They knew my dad's name. This person obviously doesn't even know that we dated. That's the direct connection is, who was her boyfriend? The 71-year-old guy, Dr. Adelson, or the 37-year-old Dr. Adelson? Yeah, 37. Let's go talk to him. Dr. Adelson, that's who they'll talk to. Not waste your time with Mom. They need to talk to someone who knew what the F went on. And so wouldn't it make sense that your connection to my family is me? Your connection to my family is not my mom. Like, yeah, you work for the office now because the checks are from there. And that's just because you come in and work on the weekends, which I trust that you're doing because I'm never there. When I see you, you tell me you do it and the place looks clean. So you get your checks, you clean up, whatever. But that's neither here nor there. This person knows information. And even if they are cops, that information, unintelligible, said your name. And they also know that they're claiming that somebody who had something to do with it is incarcerated. I don't know anybody in jail. Catherine, something unintelligible, him, Charlie. My point is, I don't want this coming back. I don't have a problem helping the community out. But I don't want this community to come back next month. And what I think happens, if I pay the money, they're going to be back again and again and again. They've got to make more money. Unintelligible. It's not a cop. We'll take this route. We already addressed it. If it's a cop, I'm happy because I've got nothing to hide, okay? If it's not a cop, unintelligible. Catherine, unintelligible. Charlie, if it is a cop, I think it would be so easy to do. You've got to understand something, and they sit down and they tell the police what happened. First, they're going to ask my parents to take a lie detector test, which they won't do, just for the simple reason that those things give false positives all the time, which unfortunately makes you look bad because it's like, okay, we just feel that way, like nothing to hide. But 99% of people, if they have nothing to hide, take a lie detector test. It makes you look bad if they're like, Katie, you want to take a lie detector test if you shot JFK? And you're like, yeah, I'll effing take the test and I'm going home afterwards, all right? Make it quick. Okay, because you didn't shoot JFK. Catherine, unintelligible. Charlie, right. And you're right. But let me explain something to you. If we go to the police, this is going to put a spotlight on the investigation, the FBI. The FBI, we're talking about a big wig in the FBI, not like the first-year rookie. You're going to have a 20-year vet with the FBI knocking at your door, wanting to speak with you and wanting to speak with your attorney. Unintelligible. This made not only national news, this was in London. My family in London was calling. You know what the BBC News is, the British Broadcasting News? This was on the BBC News. Catherine, inaudible. Charlie, okay, that doesn't matter. This made the BCT News. This was on Good Morning America. This was on the New York Times. This was a big story. So, well, listen, you didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. Unintelligible for Catherine. Charlie, well, prove it. The next question is prove it. And I don't have time, unintelligible. I've got a problem with this. If you want to arrest me, effing arrest me. I'm not going to sit here and show you photos of all of the D pictures I took of myself. Charlie, why can't you have my phone? Because I've got tons of nude photos of myself on my phone. You're not looking at D pictures of myself all day, too. So why don't you come back with a warrant so you can look at the D pictures you want of me? I'm serious. I don't want them laughing at my pee-pee. Oh my gosh. Catherine, unintelligible. Charlie, the point is, okay, I don't like cops, and you're not getting my D pics of myself, so have a nice day. So that's my answer, okay? If you think I did something, arrest me, charge me, and that's it, that's it. Now, I don't want these people coming back. If they're cops, I'm happy, because I have nothing to hide. If they're a bad guy, there's two ways of dealing with it. One is, go ahead and contact Miami Beach Police Department. Catherine, yeah. Charlie, okay. They'll contact this guy. They'll talk to him on the phone. They'll arrange for the things to be set up. Catherine, yeah. Charlie, okay. And when it's set up, there'll be like an effing SWAT team in place and effing FBI. And they're going to effing take this guy down. And then he will proffer 10 years because we just have you on tape extorting somebody. And now tell us everything you know, or else you're going to serve 10 years in prison. Is it worth it? Catherine, yeah. Charlie, okay. Next thing you know, the person is singing. Other people start singing. As soon as they have him, he starts calling your name out. Oh, my parents are going to have to say, yeah, this guy, the guy, and he said that. They're going to ask the story of what happened. They're going to be police at your door. At my door, it's going to be, Catherine, my name? Charlie, they're going to want to, and they're going to check out somebody who got bailed out of jail, and they're going to be, it's not going to be cops. It's going to be effing big boys flying in to see what they've come up with, okay? And then there's probably going to make the newspaper. Charlie, I want to give them the money, but what I don't want to get involved in is next Tuesday, he's asking for $10,000. So this was my idea. I give you the money, you contact unintelligible. Catherine, unintelligible. Charlie, listen. This is why I'm saying it. I give you money. You talk to him on the phone. Catherine Magmanua, unintelligible. Charlie Adelson. And you say, and I'm just, because my head's effing spinning. So you now know that I know whoever this guy is. I don't know who he is. And these people are going to call you. Say, my friends, say I call the guy up and say, I got a call from so-and-so. I got a call from somebody who said you reached out to them. That's all I want you to say. I got a call from so-and-so that you reached out to them. These people. Catherine, unintelligible. Charlie, these people, all right? This is what I want you to do. I want you to call up this person and say that I got a call from some friends of mine who says that you reached out to them and that you mentioned my name. And remember, protect your name recently. So you're going to say is, I got a call from some friends of mine who said that they reached out and that you had mentioned my name. These people want to go to the police because they had nothing to do with what you're talking about, okay? And frankly, I don't know what you're talking about, but the name sounds familiar of who's incarcerated, so I'm going to give you something as charity to help the less fortunate. But do not contact these people again, or they're going to go to the police. And let them know that you had to do everything in the world to prevent these people from going to the police, because they don't know anything, and I don't know anything, and that the name sounds a little familiar, and that I'm going to help out with some charity, and don't ever contact me, my friends, or my family again, or we will go to the police. That way, he gets his money. He also knows that you know everything, that you may have a friend who may not be so cool, who's going on to, many people who knows how to handle people like this, and that this is an effing one-time thing, and this is charity to help somebody out less fortunate. You believe in karma, and that's the only reason it's being done. If it happens again, they're going to bring it to the police. And then the whole time you're talking, you just say, I don't know at all what's going on. I was just called at 5:30, shaking over this. They're scared. I told them that we're going to try to help these people, but that's it. You don't use anything other than the words help and charity. And then you're going to ask that they leave these people alone or they're going to the police. That's all I was able to come up with. If it's the police, they can't take the money. They can't take the money. They won't even come meet you. They effed up. If it's this guy, maybe in the back of he knows, F off times a million. And that's now he's effing with his wife and he's effing with him, and you F with unintelligible. You F with these king himself. You better kill him because he's going to be a big problem and he knows who you are. If he can't do it, he'll have someone else do it. And so help me, if they F with my family, it's going to be like effing that Nazi shite because this will be done. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Katie, I don't care what I spend, okay? Katie, the person doesn't know. This person knows, big deal, little, may not know anything. Catherine is unintelligible. Charlie, I think they, Catherine, unintelligible. Charlie Adelson, what? No. Unintelligible for Catherine. Right, Charlie says. So he knows I have you on the salary. You'd think he'd be happy to know that. Catherine. Of course, Charlie. He doesn't have any bad feelings toward me, does he? Our paths never crossed. I didn't know that the two of you would be working out, kind of like unintelligible. Catherine. It's not like that, Charlie. You know it's not where it's like I effing was around when you guys were together, that I hopped in when you walked out. Like, that's a different story. That's disrespectful. Catherine, unintelligible. Charles, with my mom, there's no... Catherine, unintelligible. Charlie, what? Catherine, unintelligible. Charlie, how? I mean, unintelligible. Remember, like, we unintelligible, and we were separated and like unintelligible, and you either unintelligible, continuation, unintelligible travel, unintelligible, as parents know, especially we had annoying or whatever, but unintelligible, it's not like that. Yeah, no, I've never unintelligible, and you know, I was unintelligible. I mean, Katie, I'll go to the moon and back for you. That's without even saying. I don't need to say that, Catherine. But that's what, you know, it's like. You know, Charles says, you know what I'm saying? Catherine says, help me out, help me out. Charles says, like you know it. I don't even have to. I don't have to sit here and tell you what I would do. I could show you what I could do. You know what I'm saying. Like you know how I am. Like I look for things to do. You don't have to ask me for shite. I'm the one that's like, hey, Noah's birthday's coming up. I gotcha. You know, I'm the one that's like, anything I can. You know, you don't ask. I'm the one who is like, hey, I'll sell you the Lexus for a very good price. I know you're having car problems. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm the one who, I don't have to tell you. I show you. There's a difference. Catherine, unintelligible. Charlie Adelson. So what do you think? Inaudible. Catherine. Charles Adelson, unintelligible. He needs to know that it's going to go down one of two ways. Like, you're either effing with me or you're effing with the police. Pick which one. Catherine, unintelligible. Charles. He said too, oh, he's helped your family out, and I know you've been helping Katie out. Your family has been helping Katie out, and his family needs some help now. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And he said, maybe this will explain it to you. They did not go through the trouble of finding her and putting the thing together and giving that thing to her without, and then just going to go away. It ain't going away. Catherine, unintelligible. Charles. What's that? Catherine, inaudible. Charles. Listen. If it's the cops. Catherine, inaudible. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. Okay, back now. Okay. I'm just trying to see if we're still here. Hi, Nora. Thank you for being a deputy rambler for 41 months. Hi. Is everyone okay? You want to keep going? I just want to make sure. Hi, Elizabeth. Catherine's a real mumbler. Yeah, absolutely, right? Okay. Let's keep going, right? All right. We're almost done with this one. Okay, you're still here? Okay, good. Okay. Well, the problem is, if you give in to, like, if my mom meets him, it's like, oh, yeah, okay, I'll meet you tomorrow in front of the unintelligible building. And he just drives up and she hands him 5 G's. What the F do you think is going to happen next month? It's going to be, oh, he needs your help again. You know what I mean? And the thing is, if my parents were really guilty, they may think that they have a big fish on the line that's going to pay them monthly. And all they have to do is scare this little old lady. And who is she going to go to? She's going to go to the cops. She's guilty as hell. You have to let them know that these people are not afraid of going to the cops. They've got nothing to hide, okay? So you're the one they reached out to, and they said, you need to say that they reached out to me because you mentioned my name. Catherine, unintelligible. Why would you ever think, unintelligible, want to reach out, unintelligible, somebody that obviously, unintelligible, you know that, unintelligible, that would have been more like personal, unintelligible, with this whole thing, unintelligible, your mom. Charles, I'm more afraid of the long term, like knock at the door again and again and again and again. This is, Catherine, unintelligible, Charles, why not? Because I don't think they want to mess with his connections. Catherine, yeah. Charles, is he like so far removed that he's unintelligible, like he's... Catherine, yes, of course. Charles, he is unintelligible. He doesn't have anybody that he can call up that's like, yeah, you listen, you're giving somebody some money. It's not an admission of any kind of guilt. Okay, and that was the certification. And what is this? Okay, and there's another, hang on. Part 2. Okay. So what do you think? There's no way my mom's going to call this guy up because you got to understand he needs to know that it's going to go down one of two ways. Like you're either effing with me or you're effing with the police. Pick which one. Catherine, unintelligible. 80 years, me. Can you even tell me? Charles, he didn't threaten. He said, Tuto is incarcerated. And I know your family. And he helped your family out. And I know you've been helping Katie out. Catherine, been helping Katie out? Charles, your family has been helping Katie out, and his family needs some help now. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And he says like, well, maybe this will help explain it to you. Call me. And he handed it to her. He did not go through that trouble of finding her and putting that thing together and handing it to her without, and then he's just going to go away. He ain't going away. Catherine, with you? Charles, what's that? Catherine, unintelligible, because number one... Charles, what's that? Catherine, unintelligible. I said I've spoken to you since number one, Shite. Charles Adelson, listen, if it's the cops... Catherine. And number two, I don't want somebody effing unintelligible. Your mom and like unintelligible. Well, the problem is if you give into, like, if my mom meets him, it's like, oh, yeah, okay, I'll meet you tomorrow in front of the unintelligible building, and he just drives up, and she hands him 5 Gs. What the F do you think is going to happen next month? It's going to be, oh, he needs your help again. You know what I mean? And the thing is, if my parents were really guilty, they may think that they have a big fish on the line that's going to pay them monthly. And all they have to do is scare this little old lady, and who's she going to do? She's going to go to the cops. She's guilty as hell. So you got to let them know that these people are not afraid to go to the cops. They've got nothing to hide, okay? So you're the one they reached out to, and they said, you need to say that they reached out to me because you mentioned my name. Catherine, why would you ever think unintelligible want to reach out unintelligible? Somebody that obviously unintelligible, you know that unintelligible, that would have been more like personal with this whole thing. Your mom. Charles, I'm more afraid of the long term, like knock at the door again and again and again and again. This is unintelligible. Charles, why not? Because I don't think they want to mess with the... Does he still have his connections? Catherine, yeah. Charles, is he like so far removed that he's like... Catherine, yeah, of course. Charles, he is? He doesn't have an unintelligible? He doesn't have anybody that he can call up like unintelligible? Catherine, like, yeah. Yeah. Charles, you, listen. You giving somebody some money is not an admission of any kind of guilt. Like, it's like, listen, if you gave me money, unintelligible, this is the one and only time unintelligible. I don't know what this is about. I'm just telling you. You know how you can say things without saying it. Like, just the way he said it. Like he said, he needs your help. He was there for you, and his family needs your help now. Yeah. But unintelligible. He didn't want to scare her. He didn't scare her, but just his presence. You have to understand his presence. My mom had diarrhea all night. She hasn't been eating, and she's been up since 2 a.m. with diarrhea. Like, how do you think that feels? With my mom 65 years old, and up since 2 a.m. with effing diarrhea. Catherine, who? Charles, I don't know. Catherine, inaudible. Charles, my head was... When I was leaving the house, I literally had the bag out. And I had it in my car with my car keys. Catherine, unintelligible. Charles, I know. Well, if you want, you guys can swing by my house later. So what are we doing? Catherine, unintelligible. Charles, I want you to take it back. Write the number down, and I'm going to give you cash. And I want to talk to 712, 6570. There can't be that many people. Unintelligible. If it's a real number, I mean, the guy didn't have glasses or a hat. Can I tell you something else also? Yeah. What's shocking, too, is that so they could see who it is, unintelligible. Let me just put it this way. He's unintelligible, thinking he's blackmailing somebody. You're putting yourself out there to catch a mole, because when you're blackmailing someone's got a couple of options to either take care of you or, hey, okay, you're blackmailing somebody who had no problem possibly doing bad things. Blackmail somebody who were banging their secretary, okay, not blackmail somebody over effing like Catherine, unintelligible. Charles, my office in the morning, and then I'm in Weston in the afternoon. I know I'm going to do a special case for someone. But it's like, if you're going to blackmail someone that's cheating on their wife, don't come, because the thing is, there's unintelligible. These are the big boys. Like, if this is what it actually, unintelligibly, this is what I'm saying here. This is what it's actually revolving around, okay? It's actually revolving around this horrible, unintelligible. So this is what I'm saying. If you're blackmailing somebody who potentially had the ability to get something like this done, you've got an effing set of balls, because they make you shut up real quick, which makes me think, without a doubt, he's not the only. He didn't come there alone. He came there with somebody else. You know what I'm saying? And then this is the next thing. You ready? What if his homeboys want some money? All he does is he walks up and he goes, Ms. Adelson, so-and-so's family needs help. Meanwhile, this dude's family ain't getting shite. We just get a bunch of scumbags knocking on my door going, somebody needs help. Well, guess what? I don't have anything to do with what happened down there. You don't? I don't know anyone who does. I don't know who Tutu even effing is, okay? Like I don't know these people. So my point is, the problem is, once you pay, you're going to get every effing Tom, Dick, and Harry showing up. Hey, somebody needs help. Go to the effing police. I don't care. Go to the police. Tell them what you know. I'll tell them what I know. Nothing. Because I don't unintelligible. FBI unintelligible. 5 a.m. Hey, you know, this is coming from inside. I don't know anybody that's got that facial hair. Just the 5-day shadow. Okay, and that's the end of that recording. Oh my gosh, that scared me. Okay, now. Hey there. You hope these agents were well paid to listen to these convos. Yeah, right? He gives a lot of examples. I can tell he's like, you could tell if you're with him, he's like, okay, Charlie, that's another example. Let's say you were sitting in the car and your DNA is there and I took it and robbed the Burger King. Yeah. Okay. So let's see now. Hang on. Do. Okay. So, back in September of 2022, Charlie Adelson was denied bail until his trial. Once a wealthy periodontist, he's been in jail since his arrest in April of 2022. He asked for bond during a hearing. Prosecutor George Kappelman said not only was Adelson a flight risk, but he was also posing a danger to the community and he could influence or tamper with witnesses in his pending murder trial, many of whom are members of his family, also implicated as suspects in the 2014 murder of Dan Markel. Let's see here. And he was being kept in solitary confinement. Now, Catherine Magbanua, she was convicted and sentenced to life in prison plus 2 30-year sentences in Dan Markel's murder. Let's see here. Okay. Let me go to, hold on one second, Wendy Adelson. Let's see what she's doing now today. Okay. All right, here we go. Let's put this. Wendy's ex-boyfriend, Jeff Lacasse, has testified that Wendy said Charlie had joked that buying her a TV as a divorce gift was cheaper than hiring a hitman, and that was days before the murder. Wendy disclosed that Charlie had seriously looked into hiring a hitman the prior summer. The defense doesn't want Lacasse to be able to say this, but the judge, Everett, ruled it's fair game. Lacasse can share what he heard. For the impeachment purposes, it offers testimony differs from his. If other testimony differs from his. The defense doesn't want the jury to know how contentious Dan and Wendy's divorce was and moved for it to be excluded on the basis of hearsay, but the judge fired back. Divorce records will be admitted insofar as they speak to motive. Donna and Harvey Adelson, Harvey was that man of his father, will have to sit for an investigative interview. Wendy and her parents left for Miami after Markel's memorial service. Donna and Harvey never met with investigators as promised. For 9 years, the parents maintained their silence, but after defense and state attorneys listed them as witnesses, the state pursued an effort to hear their account, a process that confers immunity for anything they'd say. The Adelsons' lawyer said they'd take the fifth and refused the interview, but the judge ruled decisively they must comply or he'll begin contempt of court hearings unless they choose the latter. Donna and Harvey will be questioned on October 17th. That was yesterday. Let's see. Okay. Okay. If you want to arrest me, effing arrest me, said a defiant Charlie Adelson in that recording that we just heard in a Miami restaurant talking with the co-conspirator Catherine Magbanua. Come back with a warrant. Well, that was finally accepted almost 6 years later to the day. Charlie's arrest is a major milestone and reflects the tireless work put into this case by law enforcement and prosecutors. Adelson and Magbanua's conversation at the Dolce Vita restaurant happened the day after an undercover FBI agent approached Charlie's mother, Donna Adelson, on the street, posing as the brother of Luis Rivera, a man who had driven the now convicted killer Sigfrido Garcia to Tallahassee to carry out the hit in July of 2014. At the time of the FBI sting operation known as the Bump, nobody had been arrested, but investigators had gathered enough evidence to identify members of the conspiracy. The four named here: Charlie, Magbanua, Garcia, and Rivera, plus 2, possibly 3 other members of the Adelson family, including Wendy Adelson, Dan Markel's ex-wife, and Donna Adelson, their mother. To corroborate what investigators had uncovered, the Bump was intended to generate new conversation about the murder between the conspirators. In the undercover FBI agent, surprising Donna, handed her a flyer about Markel's murder with a request for $5,000 to help Rivera's family. The agent told Donna that he was aware the Adelsons had been helping Magbanua and Garcia for their roles in the murder and that Rivera deserved help too. Donna in a fluster called after the Bump. She called Charlie. Over the course of a handful of conversations between them that were also captured on wiretap. Okay, and this is what you hear. Donna: I got some paperwork hand-delivered to me. Charlie: Does it involve me or other people? Donna. Well, probably both of us. Probably the two of us. You probably have a general idea of what I'm talking about. Charlie. If it's a threat, you go to the police. Donna. I don't think that's a good idea. Charlie. Obviously. Don't talk about things in the apartment or any place. Donna. Obviously. Charlie. What did they ask for? This TV was probably about $5,000. They asked you for $5,000? And mentioned an ex-girlfriend, Donna says. Charlie's next call was to Magmanua, one of the many women he had dated in his prolific bachelor lifestyle. She wasn't his most recent ex-girlfriend, but even without Donna mentioning Katie by name, Charlie understood who his mother was talking about. Donna's code word TV reveals more than it does at first glance. Without context, it seems benign. The FBI agent never used this word. However, TV appears to have been playing a central role behind the scenes of the plot, stemming back to contentious divorce Wendy initiated from Dan Markel a few years prior. In a devastating move described by Dan Markel as his Pearl Harbor, he returned home from a work trip to find that Wendy had cleared out their marital home, the safety deposit box, leaving divorce papers behind. She had called to tell Dan Markel she wanted a divorce, but he was shocked to find that she had already moved out. Wendy planned that departure for some time, enlisting the help of her parents to do so. She had kept up the appearance of working on the marriage in the meantime, even going so far as to email Markel's friends to plan a surprise birthday for him. Knowing all along, but by the time his birthday came, she'd be gone. After leaving Dan Markel, Wendy began petitioning the court to move to South Florida with the young sons to be nearer to her parents. Dan was happy in Tallahassee and with his job teaching law at FSU. He was active in the local Jewish community. He didn't want to leave or be apart from his kids, and the court denied Wendy's petitions. Wendy gave testimony under oath in 2019 that she was relieved when forced to stay in Tallahassee. These rulings were clearly devastating to her and her parents. Emails produced by the court showed Donna floating multiple ideas to Wendy about how to manipulate Dan to let the kids move. This included offering to pay him $1 million in a three-way split of funds between herself, Wendy, and Charlie, and having Wendy threaten Dan that if the boys remained in Tallahassee, she'd enroll them in a Catholic school, an act that wouldn't sit well with Dan, given his observant Jewish background. There were other unhinged mentions of dressing the boys in Hitler Youth costumes and disparaging remarks about local judges and lawyers, making clear that relocation was the paramount goal for Wendy and her parents alike. But Wendy must have known these would never work. Dan loved his sons dearly and would never accept money in exchange for time with them. Okay. In her recorded interview with the Tallahassee Police Department investigator Craig Isom, immediately after the murder, Wendy again repeated that her brother had joked about hiring a hitman, but expressed disbelief that he would ever do so. In the same interview, Wendy strangely asked whether anybody had been caught running away from the home after the shooting, and asked a few times whether Dan had died yet. Let's see here. Okay, so this is supposed to start on the 23rd. So I don't know. Let's see. Did many of you are familiar with this, or was it the first time you're hearing this case? Are you interested in the trial? Did you watch? It's Garcia, I think, that we watched in 2019. The allergies are going crazy right now. You don't remember? Okay. You're welcome, Deborah. Elizabeth is still here. Do you remember this case? Okay, well, I think you'll take a look on the 23rd. Okay, Kevin. He was a periodontist. Hi, Eva. You're welcome, Eva. It begins the 23rd. I have a really busy week that week. That week is going to be enormous. I on a way cannot wait for that week to be over. I've got so many things to do that week. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. And I've got to try to get some more stuff out tomorrow. But let's just talk a little bit about Murdaugh, okay? Let me get this development with Murdaugh, okay? Shoot. Alex Murdaugh. Okay, the South Carolina Court of Appeals has granted Alex Murdaugh's motion to suspend his conviction appeal and send the case back to circuit court to consider allegations of jury tampering by the Colton County Clerk. The decision clears the first step in the quest for a new murder trial by the notorious South Carolina fraudster who was convicted in March of murdering his wife Maggie and his son Paul. Chief Judge H. Bruce Williams signed the order Tuesday morning. Tuesday morning. Can't say that. The case is now remanded to circuit court to consider the jury tampering allegations. The recent ruling to stay the appeal and remand the case for a hearing on Alex Murdaugh's motion for a new trial is welcome news, say his attorneys Dick Arpudulin and Jim Griffin. We intend to proceed expeditiously and will seek a full-blown evidentiary hearing addressing the serious allegations pertaining to improper jury communications by the clerk of court. The South Carolina Attorney General's Office said they would respond through the legal process at the appropriate time. Murdaugh appealed days after he was convicted following a 6-week trial of shooting and killing his wife Maggie and Paul at the family's hunting property Moselle. He's currently serving 2 consecutive life sentences in a state prison for their murders. Murdaugh pled guilty to nearly 24 fraud and money laundering charges last month in a federal courtroom in Charleston. The plea was related to a scheme in which Alex Murdaugh and a bank employee allegedly defrauded his personal injury clients and laundered more than $7 million of funds, according to the indictment. Murdaugh's attorneys last month filed a motion to suspend the murder conviction appeal so they could move forward with requesting a new trial. And the motion contained allegations that the Colton County Clerk of Court, Becky Hill, tampered with the jury by advising them not to believe Murdaugh's testimony and other evidence presented by the defense, pressuring them to reach a quick guilty verdict, and even misrepresenting critical and material information to the trial judge in her campaign to remove a juror she believed to be favorable to the defense. Hold on one second. There we go. Sorry. State Attorney General Alan Wilson has asked the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division to investigate the claims involving Hill, according to Wilson and the investigative agency. In their motion, Murdaugh's lawyers claimed Hill tampered with the jury to secure for herself a book deal and media appearances that would not happen in the event of a mistrial. The defense cited at least 3 sworn affidavits, including one from a juror, one from a dismissed juror, as well as excerpts from the clerk's new book, Behind the Doors of Justice, The Murdaugh Murders, which she published over the summer. Murdaugh's murder conviction was the most significant stage of a stranger-than-fiction story that featured accusations of misappropriated funds, a bizarre alleged suicide for hire and insurance scam plot, a stint in rehab for drug addiction, dozens of financial crimes, and his disbarment from legal practice. So we'll have to see what happens here, right? That's crazy. Crazy. Okay, Delphi murders. The judge is allowing cameras in the courtroom for a hearing this week. See what we've got here. Okay, so an Indiana judge will allow news cameras to record a hearing on Thursday in the murder case against Richard Allen, who is charged with the murder of Abigail Williams and Libby German in Delphi, Indiana in 2017. Allen's attorneys have asked Judge Fran Gull last month to allow cameras to record all future proceedings in the case. Prosecutors said they were concerned that cameras would create a circus atmosphere, with 15-second clips leaving an inaccurate impression of the justice system. But the judge restricted her ruling to Thursday's hearing, provided that the means of recording will not distract the participants or impair the dignity of the proceedings. The judge also noted that the hearing is a non-confidential proceeding. The recording is restricted to news media defined as a newspaper, periodical, press association, radio station, television station, or wire service. The judge scheduled Thursday's hearing to discuss the upcoming hearing on October 31st, 2023, and other matters which have recently arisen and may include a discussion of a leak of evidence that sent some crime scene evidence into circulation in the social media community surrounding the case. The Indiana State Police announced an investigation into the leak last week before the judge set the hearing. Richard Allen was arrested on October 28th of last year at his home in Delphi for the murders of Williams and German, 13 and 14. The victims were found murdered near the Mononhai Bridge on February 14th of 2017. After taking an outing to the bridge the day prior, the outing was only meant for a few hours, and the girls failed to return home. Worrying family members contacted police. Okay, so Thursday there'll be a hearing and there'll be cameras in the courtroom. Now, Jordan Vander Sloot is due to have a court appearance on Wednesday that could give some information that Natalie Holloway's family has been waiting for. Pull that over. So he is due to appear in Alabama court tomorrow. He's expected to plead guilty to charges of extorting and defrauding Natalie Holloway's mother. It's not known what specific charges in the extortion case he will plead guilty to. A condition of the plea deal requires the Dutch national to reveal how Natalie Holloway died and how her body was disposed of. Sentencing will also take place. Vander Sloot must finish his time in a Peruvian jail before returning to serve out his U.S. sentence. So we'll see what happens. Okay, let me see here. Wow, there's really a lot of crazy. Oh yeah, here's another update here. J.J. Vallow's body was finally released to his grandparents. So the judge who oversaw the murder trials, is overseeing the murder trials of Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow Daybell, issued an order releasing 7-year-old J.J. Vallow's body to his next of kin. J.J.'s next of kin are his grandparents, Kay and Larry Woodcock. Praise Jesus, Kay Woodcock wrote on Twitter. We are grateful. Judge Stephen Boyce orders that the body of J.J. Vallow may be released to his next of kin. J.J.'s grandparents have been waiting a long time, since June 9th of 2020, to have a funeral for the 7-year-old who was murdered by his adoptive mother, Lori Vallow. The Woodcocks have waited 3 years since the discovery of J.J.'s body, along with that of his half-sister, 16-year-old Tylee Ryan, who were found buried on Chad Daybell's property in June of 2020, nearly a year after they'd been reported missing, launching a search that ultimately led to the arrests of the so-called cult mom and her doomsday writer and fifth husband, Chad Daybell. Lori Vallow Daybell was found guilty of the murders of the children, as well as that of Chad Daybell's first wife, Tammy Daybell, in May. She's been sentenced to life in prison. Chad Daybell's trial on the same charges is due to begin April 1st of 2024. Lori Vallow Daybell is also charged with conspiracy in the death of her fourth husband, Charles Vallow, who was shot to death by her brother, Alex Cox, in the summer of 2019, before the children disappeared, and she married Chad Daybell. Alex Cox subsequently died, reportedly of natural causes, a few months later. And the Woodcock sent a statement. Says, the last several years have been filled with pain and grief as we traveled this long, arduous road. We have waited and prayed for this day for so long and are immeasurably relieved that JJ will finally be laid to rest. We have spent the past days immersed in the memories of the love and happiness that JJ shined and continue to shine on our life. As we reminisce in the joy that JJ filled our life with, our hearts ache for those that love JJ and share in the immense grief and loss of such a beautiful little man. We are grateful for the love and support of everyone that has come to love JJ, Tylee, and Charles. As we continue to fight for justice, the dedication and strength given has helped to carry us through. We are anxious to find out when Tylee, too, can be laid to rest. Our greatest wish is for JJ and Tylee to be celebrated for the joy and love they brought to this world, and for them to finally rest in peace. Only then will our hearts begin to heal. Memorial services will be announced at a later date. Larry and Kay Woodcock. So, let me see here. Go back over here. Maybe, yeah, hopefully they can. Well, I think we're going to do the word game, and then I'm going to go to bed because I have a huge day tomorrow, and then we're supposed to have an auction tomorrow night, and yeah. So let's do the word cookies. Cookies. Uh-oh, what happened to the word cookies? Hold on, they're coming back. Come on back, word cookies. Doctor what? Doctor? Hello, White Angel. Did Evie come back yet? Where did she go, White Angel? Where was she going? What's the matter with Evie? Daily puzzle. Okay. Where's our stars? We don't have any stars. Oh, is that a star? It's a ghost. It's a ghost. They put a ghost in there. And they made our letters go Halloween shape. Okay. How about B-A-Y? Oopsie. B-A-Y. Bay. Uh-oh, we just missed it. How about bar? Yay, we got it. Down here. How about bail? Nope. How about Mount Airy Lodge? No. How about is that? Okay. Hmm. Rip. Okay. Hi, JD. How are you? Haven't seen you in a long time. Hi, Emmy. Alibi. Good adventures. High adventures. Airily. Maybe. Let me see. Airily. Airily. Yeah. They did it very airily. Ably. Thanks, Beth. Good. You never come by and see us anymore, JD. You hate us? Biliary. Thanks, heart. Kevin says bra. We did it. We did that. We've collected 5 cookies and we've got these ghosts today. Oh, is that what you were saying, doctor, about Kevin? Oh, now I get it. I get it now. Hi, Marianne. How are you guys? All right, let's see. Brood. Uh-oh. I have boot. I have robot. I have coot. I already have that. Let's see. What else? Haha, no, my shift in work has me working when you're alive. I'm finally off. Oh, good. So you'll be here all the time now, right? Door. We have a sale tomorrow night. Let's see. Oh, boo. Boo-hoo. There it is. Odor. 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 Oh, crisp. Okay. Roach. Two. Hello, Shariam. Hello, Shariam. All right, let me see here. Oh boy. I try doc robo. No. Trod. Okay. What is this word? Could this be? If it starts with a D, there's only vowel is an O, and the T is the last letter in the alphabet that's here. And if it's R, R-O, there's nothing before B. So what could that be? No, we need this one. Oh, I didn't think of the O. That's what it is. Thank you. I just missed that one. Okay, sorry. Thank you. Q, I got ketchup. Ketchup. Yes, very good. Thank you. Cup. Okay. Let's see. I did heck, it doesn't work. Etch will work. Okay. Oh, I know hue. Alright, so now I did peck, it's there. I did puke. I did heck. Shoot, I did. I thought I did shoot. I'm pretty sure I did shoot. It went to the extra stuff. Yeah, went to the extra words. I knew I did it. Hi, Sherry. Puke, I did, Sherry. Okay, I don't know. Oh my gosh, cut up. Cut. What do we need? What do we need? What do we need? I did heck already. It doesn't work. Extra word. Yeah, that's right. And let's see, catch. Yay! Thank you. Death and heart. Lying. Lemming. I thought I did lemming, but okay. Lie. Very good. I tried ling. Extra word. Oh, wait a minute. There we go. That was easy. Okay, meet. I think I did that. No, I didn't. Okay, thank you, Elizabeth. Okay, I don't know. I don't know. Hold on a minute. Okay, let's see. Theme, yeah. Step. T is, what can we do? Can only be that. T E A. Thought we got team already. Reset. Terse. Very good. Street. Good, I got that. Street. Oh, you got that too, Kevin? I didn't even see that. Treat. Nope. Steer. Better? I thought I did that. I already found that. Okay. T. E. Test. What about tester? You didn't get that yet? How did we miss test and tester? That's crazy. Special level. We're not going to miss it this time. The B. Best. Beats. Beats. No. Hold on a minute. Better. Beer. Yeah. Arrays. I thought I did beats. Let's see. One more. Be set. I think you're right, Elizabeth. Okay, very good. And I think it's time that I'm going to go to bed because tomorrow's a really big day. But thank you guys for coming in. And the hair, I've got to do something with my hair tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow. Love you guys. God bless. Prayers for all. I'll see you. Bye. Please give this a thumbs up on your way out of the door. Thanks for so much. Bye-bye. Hold on. I've got to find the right one. I'm not in the right one to let you out. I have to go into my thing here. There you go.